So we accepted that at that
Yeah, we
meeting.
did accept it because you went over, even though it's marked wrong, we went over the whole checklist.
So we don't need to do the checklist.
No, checklist is all done. Tonight's just a public hearing.
Okay, I'm totally messed up. I am, I got too many things going on.
You're not alone. I knew this
Didn't I
was
talk to
coming.
you about that earlier, about age, or just a few minutes ago?
I'm reaching a point, I think, where I need
And everyone
to...
brought a map at the back of the room, you can't squint at it if you don't have it.
John, have your information that John provided.
That's Mr. Littell, right there.
This is
Also, Jeff isn't going to be here,
No,
huh?
that's senior, that's the boss.
Okay. All right. All right, it's 6:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to hold off on the public hearing for about 10 minutes because I left the maps at home, and my husband went home to get them. So while we're waiting,
Get it?
go ahead.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we just come to you in the name of Jesus, Lord. We thank you for this day. And God, I ask you to bless this meeting tonight, God, and that peace reign here. And God, we get accomplished what needs to get accomplished. We thank you and praise you, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to go to Chuck. I got an application from the state, 2 of them as a matter of fact. One was looking for a car dealership, which, as you said, was wrong. The second one is looking for a repairer registration. However, they sent me a copy of the RSA. You can't get a repair plate for those vehicles unless you have a repair shop or a dealership.
Well, if you're working
It says it
on-
right in here.
Well, if you read the RSA, it says if you're working on your own equipment, you can have a repair equipment.
No, it says RSA 261:136-a, use of repairer registration. A repairer may use a repairer registration on unregistered vehicles not owned by the repairer and temporarily in the repairer's custody for transport to or from a repair facility for the purpose of repair, adjustment, reconditioning, or to install aftermarket equipment. 2, the repairer may use a repair plate on tow trucks or service vehicles, provided the vehicle is clearly marked not for hire. 3, the repairer may use a supplemental repair plate on vehicles owned by the repairer and offered for sale for the sole purpose of allowing a customer to test drive the vehicle. And she put a note in there that this is not applicable to the application because you're not selling anything. And 4, a repairer shall not make personal use of the repair plate or the supplemental repair plate.
We're using number 2, if you've already registered a tow truck here. It's a roll-off truck. So we're doing it under that number 2.
But what are you using the plate on?
On our, we have conveyor belts, the conveyors that stack our stone, and they're over 50 feet long. And they said that's the type of plate that we need to be able to tow it and to move.
I've talked to Robin a number of times, and she said that's not acceptable.
So that's come from the state.
Right, and that's who I've spoken.
Robin is the one that suggested it when she called the state. So we were.
Robin is the one at the state that I've been dealing with, Robin and Lisa.
Yeah,
And-
and she's the one that said to do that. She's the one that pointed us to go to that route, because we were gonna do a regular plate for each one, but she said because it's too long, we weren't allowed to do that. The length of it was too long to tow it. It's to tow the over length. We can't put it on our low beds because it sticks out too far off the lines. So that's why she said to do it under that number 2, which means, and our tow truck does say that. It's one of the ones that tilts up and rolls off, but we have a pintle on the back to hook to those long stackers, they call them, those conveyor belts. And it says not for hire right on, it's only for our own stuff, we don't haul anybody else's things. So if you want to make a note that it's only under that, and we're not having a repair shop shop, we can put it right in the notes that it's only under number 2. We don't want a repair, I don't want a repair shop, I don't want any of that stuff.
Then if that's the case, it's out of the planning board's hands. You go to the code officer for that. We had to make sure that it wasn't a repair shop or a dealer, because if it was, then you would have to follow a different criteria.
Right, absolutely.
If this is just for the repair plate and they're approving it, then, I mean, I've already been told that once this is signed and sent in, state police are gonna come out and investigate anyway.
Well, only
They
if
do
you're doing
that.
a repair shop.
No,
Or
with the
an
repair,
inspection shop.
with the repair plate, they will come out, she told me that. So, I mean, we won't have to deal with this, you can go.
Okay.
I can notify Carl just to sign off on it.
Okay, that'd be
Are you
awesome.
taking questions from the public today on this?
On this one?
Yeah.
No.
No?
This was to find out what was going on and how it was going on. So if all he's looking for is a repair plate for a piece of equipment,
Oh,
then that's not in our purview.
and even though it's in rural residential?
Yeah, he's already got the equipment up there, and he's been okay, he's had permits, I hope.
Yeah,
For the
contractor
business,
yard.
yeah.
Yep. And actually, John was on the board at the time, and it was Roger, John.
So if that was approved, the only thing he's looking for now is a plate to move a piece of equipment that isn't registered.
What map and lot is this?
Pardon me?
What map and lot?
I have no clue.
Map and lot?
Mine is, map 13 lot 10.
It's been there for,
Yes,
Since
I know.
2007.
Yeah, I know.
yeah. So just see Carl on it.
Thank you.
I'll call him, because if that's all it is, that's fine.
Excellent, thank you guys.
All right.
So you can open this public hearing now, Jan.
Yes, I'm going to open the public hearing on the Pinkham Road subdivision. Correct me on the map and lot. Map 8, lot 11, or map 8, lot 6?
Map 8, lot 6, I believe.
Yep, that's what I thought. All right, I have the maps here.
Wait a minute. What are we, I am
We're
now,
supposed to be having a public hearing on map 8, lot 11.
Yeah.
That's what I have here.
Yes, that's what it is, I'm sorry.
okay.
Okay,
Map 8, lot 11.
11-6 has already been approved.
Yes.
I'm
that's
confused
correct.
enough already.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
11-6 was approved. I need your.
you. You're clear, right, okay.
Are you
thank
going to put these up there, Roxanne?
Well, if I can attach it. I don't know, will they attach, Kate, now? Usually I can. Grab that side sign. Oh, you good? They're all the same? Yeah, they look to be all the same, right? Okay.
Yep. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yes. Well, good evening. My name is Van Pertel, and we have on Pinkham Road,
8, 11.
we have approximately 130 acres of land, and we're proposing on the westerly side, which abuts Ken and Jen, we're proposing a 4-lot subdivision. Lot 1 would be 31 acres, lot 2 is
This one.
5 acres, 21 acres, and a 20-acre piece. So that's what we're proposing. We do have 50 acres, 51 acres left in the acreage that we have. And we have surveyed it. We have done extensive soils, which are mapped on here, the areas I mean, any little, even minor wetlands they pick up. Mr. Bird is very, very thorough. So he did the soils, and then we located where would be best to have the 4 lots and the shapes and the sizes, and that's what we're proposing to do.
And
So,
you've got the reports on that?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to give you that, yeah, this is...
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Would anybody else like a second report down here?
No, I'm good, thank you.
I think we got those, didn't we get those?
No, not on this one.
Oh, okay,
Not
okay,
on
very
this.
good, okay, I'm good.
Would you like one for you?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. So he does a very thorough job of going like a little wet area here, going right around it, flagging if the surveyor picks it up accurately. And then, based on town and state requirements, he makes a determination, like a lot like this is 30 acres. Well, in the first 600 feet going back, you easily could have 3 or 4 different building areas. But he just makes the statement that each lot definitely has a nice, has a very suitable building area and meets all the requirements. So this is what it is. They all have paved road frontage. And that's pretty much what it is.
So,
We did do, excuse me, but we did make the first lot larger because there was an old gravel pit out here which we wanted to include. This first lot, we believe Ken and Jen are going to buy the neighbor right here. They
Right.
want to buy that, so we had to make the lot a little bigger to include an old sand pit, gravel pit area. So that's why we changed it.
So you're
that's-
going from 1 lot to 5 lots, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Not to be confused, because there is somebody else who's lived this.
Right, that's true. Even the numbering system myself is confusing, so, the way it's done, but,
I've tried to keep these things separate, but it isn't working well.
right, yeah. So, yeah, Jeff is sorry he couldn't be here tonight. He may be coming later, but he had a
Okay.
show he had to do.
All right, I'll open it up for questions. And when you ask your question, please state your names. Yes, sir.
My name's Tom Racine. I live here on New Durham Road. It's going to be abutting the backside of my property. How many homes are you talking about in your development? I know you're talking about 5 lots.
Yes, yeah. Well, what we're talking about here for these first 4 lots would really be, unless somebody came back to the
Hold it a minute. That property doesn't abut New Durham Road. Pinkham?
I have a 22-acre property going back from New Durham Road. It actually abuts
What is your?
It abuts Pinkham?
lot 7, lot 12.
sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
So we propose
Oh,
just
yes, I
these,
see. See?
okay.
these 4 lots. With the rest of the frontage, we really are going to wait and see what the demand, if any, might be a year, 2, 3 years down the road. We actually own this piece out back, this Charles DePrizio piece. We bought that, so we do own that. And here we would have certainly larger lots, maybe in the 15 to 25 acre range. So for the amount of acreage, total maybe 200, I think we're probably talking 10, probably 10 or 11 lots, and certainly no more than 14 or 15. So the lot per acre is really, the number of acres in each lot average is pretty large.
So I'll just speak to that. Right now, it's a 5-acre minimum lot in Middleton to be able to build on. So, and just, I have a follow-up question. So you're looking to just sell these as the chunks as they are. So you're not putting actual homes on there. You're not.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they're just
Yeah.
selling the lot as is,
Yeah.
so it'd be the person coming in who would choose to decide, they would have, if they wanted to put additional buildings or something, they would have to come to us and subdivide, because you have to have a minimum of 5 acres. Just so that we're clear, so you're just selling the property.
That's correct, yeah, we're just, matter of fact, I believe we have a buyer for this 20-acre piece, and the person lives in the neighborhood, but I guess where his home is, it's a very small piece of property, And he wants an area to be able to store things and have room. So I don't believe he's even interested in building, according to Jeff. But, so I don't know, maybe in 2-3 years there very well could be. I mean, my guess would be maybe 2 homes, but people don't build right away, it takes time. So,
Yes, sir.
Belson, are there any restrictions on the type of buildings that could be put there? I mean, residential, commercial, or whatever?
Jeff was talking about covenants when we came in the last, Jeff was talking about covenants when he was here for the last meeting.
Okay.
There's not going, I don't believe there's going to be a building size restriction.
What zone is he in? What zone is this?
I don't have the information in front of me. What zone is
Rural
that?
residential.
It's not in the business one area?
no, it's rural residential, I believe. So it is residential. As far as protective covenants, yes, we are going to put some on. We are going to encourage homes. I think we really want homes. They're being priced for nice homes. It's not a less expensive area, but we really want homes. I don't know if we're even going to allow mobile homes.
Don't go there.
Some people don't do, some people don't. But if we did allow mobile homes, we would say that, oh, don't go there.
They're not mobile homes anymore.
No.
No. A mobile home is a travel trailer.
Oh, a travel?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're talking a double wide, even a single wide, they're built now, they're put on foundations. Once they're delivered to the place they're going to be set up, the axles, the wheels, and the hitch are removed and gone back to the manufacturer. They're no longer mobile.
I see.
They stay put. And let me tell you, some of those homes,
Are nice living.
yes,
Yes, they are. Yeah, they can be.
but a
So,
mobile home is
has changed a lot.
yes,
Yeah.
even the definition, if you look up the state definition,
Yeah,
it has changed.
I will. That's good to know.
Yep.
But what we have in the past specified, like an area like this, we would say, usually we would say, like if it's a 1-story building, it would have to be so many square feet. If it's 2-story, so many finished square feet. Home must be finished within like a year. And if there's going to be a garage, if it started, that has to be finished within 2 years. But if it is a mobile home, or what Janet is saying, then we require it to be at least 100 feet off the road with a curved driveway. So that if you have a customer who really can spend a good amount of money on a nice property and they really want to cut their size, cut their expenses, have a moderate home, it would be, probably we would allow it under, as long as it was 100, in other words, out of sight of the road, with privacy, with a good curved driveway to help promote privacy in the neighborhood.
Anybody else?
Can I ask a question? Why did you make the small 5-acre or 5.4?
Yeah,
The small lot, and not just make that 21-acre lot a larger one?
Well, I mean, we could have done that, but what we have with this wet area in the front, and then this wet area out back, it kind of cuts the piece almost in two. So we felt it was just as well that these soils in here are very nice. They glossed it with a B slope, so the B slope is pretty much ideal for state septic systems. So we decided where this wet area is, that'd be a good place for a boundary, because you really can't go right through, or you're not supposed to just fill and go right through. So that seemed to make sense.
Another question?
Yep.
Yes.
Has there been any study of the impact on Sunrise Lake from the development there?
Yeah, it has no impact on Sunrise Lake. It's not within the
It
Lake
flows.
District.
The water from the
There's
arrow
no-
flows into Sunrise.
No flow of any of the streams into the lake that could be impacted by development there?
We
Well,
just-
Mr. Bird has looked into that, and based on the whole so large. Some of, you know, I don't know what the sizes are on Sunrise Lake, but I guess some of them are smaller. But these lots are, I mean, they average 3 to 4 times what the town minimum is. So I wouldn't expect that there's any impact. And Mr.
My
Bird
question is, has there actually been a study of that?
Yes, Mr. Burt is a soil scientist, and he feels that they're very suitable. So, yeah.
And
There's not gonna-
is there a written report that we can look at?
Yes, there is right here. Yeah, I turned one in. Yeah, sure, I'll be glad to get you a copy of that. Afterwards, get you a copy, sure.
We will post that on website.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, good.
Now, the last meeting, that question was asked of Jeff, and Jeff even said there would be no impact to the lake.
That's exactly right. There won't be any impact to the lake. I mean, the lake probably has 200 smaller lots around it.
Right.
Here we have lots that are further away. These lots average at least 10 times as big as those lots.
I'm thinking of stream impact.
Yeah, no, there
The
is.
source of water that goes into the lake.
That's right, not with this size lots, you know, according to our specialist. He's a very expensive man. He does a real thorough job, so. But I can get you, I'll certainly get you a copy of this.
We're going to put it online.
Oh,
It'll be
okay,
posted
good.
online.
That's a good idea.
Let me go to her first, Jeff.
Just a quick question.
Can you, your name, please?
Oh, sorry, Kelly Benedetti. I live at 20 Pinkham, which is the far end, of the other 50 acres. Just want to be sure I'm reading this accurately. Do you live in town? It seems like you have some care about what happens to this in the future. Do you live here?
Well, I do because when we were first in our land business in 1970, 69, 70, we did a lot of business in Middleton. We did a lot with the Frezios and their land. And the town always was very fair with us, very good. And I really feel now we can, you know, really try to go for very high quality. And we are interested with one other lot trying to do something for the town. So, but we really have more land than we need. So.
Hey, Kazar,
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the wetlands and the drainage as well. That Moose Brook that goes through there, one branch, I believe, goes straight across, feeds the aquifer on 153, and doesn't one branch go into Sunrise Lake, John Mullen?
Yes, it does.
And have you seen increased flow from the logging?
No.
But there will be increased flow once you get those hardscapes, they're like houses and pavement.
Well,
But in your counter would be that the area is so large, it's going to be able to absorb all of that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Although, the wetlands, you don't have, would the report have the percentages?
Well, we know that there's more than enough. I mean, this is the wetland areas,
Right.
and we know that the lots are much, much bigger than the minimum, and we know the wetlands have been well defined, so I didn't figure a percentage on it as such.
No.
Sometimes the planning board requests yours in the report. So where are the culverts that the town's replacing on that? Do you know? Does anybody know?
the what?
The
Culverts
culverts.
on Pinkham Road that we're replacing? Does anybody know where they're located?
I bet,
Yeah,
well, Kate, they're
well-
probably right here.
Yeah, there are a lot of them that are, and
Where these,
Roxanne, you probably know better where they are than I do.
yeah, they're probably, I'm going to show you this, John. Then, wait a minute, I'm going to show John. So I bet they're like right here and right here. See where that water?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's another one
So-
down here.
So there'd be, yeah, so if you have the map, you'll see them. It'd be like right,
There-
Just give me the, I'll point them out and then tell me what that lot, so I can look at this.
it's on
and I-
4, it's right here, Kate. It's, so it'd be like right here, I think, let me show you, because it's this
Yeah.
one, this picture's better. So it'd be like right here, see where these, this is the area?
Yeah, one here
And
and
then
then,
one right here, and then there's probably another right here.
and they're replacing those two
Yeah, yes, they're replacing, I think, the two that are.
right there. And then there's a third that's not being replaced.
No, not sure, I'll have to check with Dan on that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So apparently, we feel that the drainage that we have is adequate to deal with any increase. But you know, there's, I mean, when you cut trees, you're gonna get more water.
Yes, that is true, but the area, like if this was 20 years ago when we were building roads, I mean, this area really would lend itself to a nice development, you know, like, and probably this 75 acres probably would yield 14 lots or something, but yes, you're right, there would be a change. If a house is built and somebody has a driveway, that changes the water a little bit.
I just think that people, you know, people that live down on the shoreline need to be prepared for
Oh, sure. Well, from this,
possible changes.
yeah, but from this, there shouldn't be any
You
negative
don't
change.
think anything's gonna happen. Okay.
Yeah, if any of the people down there have children, this could be a potential place for them to live, so. But that's what we're proposing, is the 4 lots.
Any other questions?
When do you anticipate construction will start?
So they're just subdividing the land. It's gonna be sold. It's whoever buys it will be building. But he's not building on the properties.
Yeah, we're not planning to build anything,
So it's whoever purchases the lots.
yeah.
Well, I understand that, but I presume that since you're developing this area, you're gonna be putting in some amount of understructure.
No.
So the people can then
He's
buy it
not.
up, or they getting
No.
really rough.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, no, we're actually just subdividing the land and selling the lots. We aren't planning to build. Like, I think I said before, I mean, my best guess is that out of the 4 lots, you might possibly have 1 or 2 homes 3 years from now. There's no big, development going in with a ton of houses, so. And we do have one buyer for the 20-acre piece. He's planning to use it for, to build a barn, so he's not even planning to have a house there. that
I
know.
suggest that he look at the ordinances because I do not believe that's permitted unless there is a home on the lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a different conversation for a different meeting.
Right, but, Yes.
Sorry, I want to hear more about these protected covenants.
I don't think.
So they're not, so I'm guessing that they're not complete yet, the covenants
Yeah.
are
Just in general.
Right, so,
Yeah, what they are again is we probably are thinking that the lots, like a subdivision like this that I mentioned, probably would warrant like a square footage for a ranch home, possibly 1,400 square foot minimum. Ranch home would have to be completed within a year. If it's a 2-story home, maybe 1,600 to 1,800 square foot minimum. We may very well ask every home to be at least 70 feet off of the road for privacy. And if it was a different type of a home, at least 100 feet off with a curved driveway. So that's really what.
are you looking for additional covenants, Kate? Is that what
Am
you're?
I looking for?
No, right, no, I'm just saying, are you looking
Just
for?
wondering where he was going with that. The other
Okay.
thing is, but you're not preventing additional subdivision. Any of these lots are potentially
So you're not gonna write,
susceptible to future subdivisions.
Sure.
Right.
so would you write in the covenants at all that it couldn't be subdivided to a smaller?
Well, what we have is, we have one customer who might be interested in making a larger piece for 1 or 2 children, or 3 children. I don't know. No, we aren't really going to restrict further development or subdivision, but it really would be impractical. Like the cost of building a road in here to subdivide this
Right.
piece, you can't do it, I mean, economically. Road construction, paved roads are so expensive that you just can't, if you have a real ideal piece and if you have good access, possibly on 2 sides, you can build a nice loop internal road, similar to what was done up at Buttermilk Estates, or a through road, but this isn't that type of a thing.
Bad.
What is this, on, around the, say, tax map 8, log 11-1, what does that dash line delineate?
Well,
The
this-
Decker soils, is that what it's called?
yes, it is, yeah, this black heavy dash line, that is the soils type, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so
And
that,
are you familiar with I'm familiar with GSP, but I'm not familiar with the LRA. What is that one?
that would be Leicester,
Yeah.
Leicester.
And how suitable is that? What kind of soils? Is
Well,
that fairly
it's-
well drained or poorly
Yeah.
drained or
Well, it's average drain.
average drained?
But I'm really relying on what a real expert who went to college and studied it has the, I really am not a
Yeah, but
soil
you've been doing
expert.
this a long time.
What's that?
You've been doing this a long time.
Yes, I have, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the Lord has blessed me, that's
Yeah.
right. 53 years, so
Yeah. Oh, I know you know.
hopefully I'll come back here 10 more years and have another piece of land.
If
So,
you got enough land, you probably will be.
that's right, yeah. But we're not proposing an intensive subdivision.
I'm just curious, because those are pretty, for me, they're important land, water.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah,
That was going through
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
for
being that
Sunrise
close,
Lake.
that close to Sunrise Lake, I think this type of use is very good. And probably it isn't an area, I mean, Middleton requires 5 acres, which is very large, but if this was in Barrington and you could put in 2-acre lots, yeah, to have 30 or 50 2-acre lots probably would be too close to the lake.
We proposed 5 acres because we got so many quarter-acre lots around the lake that are really severely impacted.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And so we need to mitigate that, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
I don't know, I mean, I'm having more questions.
You kidding?
Sure. Okay.
Give her a minute, she'll come up with another one. Any other questions?
Not for now, I don't know if I can do
You through? You're done.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
The hearing's still open.
that. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be for an hour, but
Half an hour.
whatever. Go ahead, go to the next.
Yeah. But we'll keep it open until 7:15 anyway. Okay, I had my agenda somewhere here.
Oh, solar
I got it.
ordinance.
All right, yep,
Do you want to review the minutes?
yes.
Okay.
Right here.
That's Gloucester.
Carol, Robin redid the minutes.
Right here, there's the other stuff.
Okay. I gave them to her and had her cut them down. So did I mean, even with what she did, I read it, to me, they looked okay. I don't know if you guys have had a
Have
chance
you
to
read the
read.
minutes? Did you read the minutes, Ken?
I have not, I was not at either meeting.
Well, it's the lake, village district, I only
Pass them down, Roxanne. My hands don't want to work.
Ken, share this with John.
I tend to read them.
He said he read them.
Yeah, he read them because I told him what they said.
But he can't vote on them because he wasn't here. You're talking about,
No, Ken.
no, John.
I can't either because I wasn't here.
So, Chris was here, I believe. Yep, she was here. She was here for both of them. Did you get a chance to look at them, Chris?
Yeah, I kind of scanned through them. This was the big one, we had all the attachments to it.
Right.
I will, where the dates? I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from May 25th, 2023 and June 8th, 2023.
I will second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain. I wasn't at either meeting.
Yep.
And John?
Yeah,
John will
John.
abstain because he wasn't here either.
Okay. So we did that. We did Chuck.
Yep,
You want to get into the solar stuff?
yep.
What did you have?
So you can take this opportunity now, Janet. So if you don't want to stay no longer, because we've already discussed the Hertel subdivision, you don't have to stay if you'll
So what's next for that? What are you gonna do next?
Janet?
On the agenda?
On the hotel subdivision, what's next? This was just a public hearing, and then what happens?
Then we choose to accept his plan. So do you want to do that tonight?
Yeah, we
Okay.
have to accept it before we can do any other
After we
action.
come out of the public hearing. It'll be after the public hearing. But just to say that, so basically now we're going into the regular agenda for the planning board, so. Some people usually, once you're done with the public hearing piece, they like to leave and. But hey, you're more than welcome to stay, because we are looking for members.
Oh, I'm staying.
I know you're staying. Hey, we know you're staying.
I can't believe I left that book.
But no, I just, some people just think they're.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame them. Time is short.
What did you, lose your papers?
Anyway,
I lost the whole book.
our next meeting is next Wednesday.
I had the solar book.
Oh, Tanglewood meeting, next Wednesday at 5:30.
5:30.
All right,
Yeah, did you ask me already?
I'll wing it.
You've lost control here, Janet.
Yes, I have. Hasn't been a good week, I'll tell you that right now.
Hopefully we'll have some guest speakers.
If I had a whole solar book, but
So we're going to defer to the next meeting?
no, we can discuss it because John's got a lot of stuff.
John will come and talk to us. I'm hoping. How about Dan?
You sure you want John to come and talk?
I went and saw him yesterday and we talked about it, but I mean, he can come. And
If he wants, I mean, my God,
I know.
I know if I was working, I wouldn't want to go to that. His input would be great.
I did get his input, but I mean, I'll ask him if he'll come and provide it, so it's not third person.
We're gonna get fishing game there.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna see, I'll have Jim give that.
Do you want Jim to do it, or?
St. Pierre guy, no, he called the St. Pierre guy.
I got his card, he hasn't come to one of those.
Yeah, Jim.
I know I didn't, I got it right
So,
here.
I'll just have him call. All right, John,
But,
go ahead, Janet.
Solar,
yep,
I'm leaving it to you to start it, John.
what, do you want me to start it?
Yeah,
What do you want me to say?
I don't know, what do you got for information?
Well, I think that many towns have solar ordinances.
Yeah.
I think I sent this to the board.
Yep,
Yep.
Okay, this was a presentation that was done at the Stratford Regional Planning Commission in June. And it was a panel discussion between a gentleman from New Hampshire Department of Energy, the Director of Planning for the City of Rochester, and there's another individual who was here, and I don't have her name off the top of my head here. But it was, okay, yes. Shauna Saunders, who's on the Planning Commission for the City of Rochester, Sherry Tariff, who is, I'm not sure what that is, and then Joseph Elliott, who is in the Department of Energy for New Hampshire. Basically, what they talked about, what's happening in the state and communities with solar panels, solar farms, erection of solar panels. They did get a little bit into the electrical and the net metering and costs and so forth like that. But the main thing that they were talking about is what are communities doing to ensure that solar activity is within the purview and wishes of a community. So, and the increase in number of solar request permits in the city of Rochester have dramatically increased, and they're going to increase. Not from just private individuals who want to put up, you've seen those directional solar panels
Yep.
that Packy Campbell sells. They're all over the place. Staples has one up in Rochester and so forth. There's a large solar farm down here that's barely visible from Middleton Building Supply. People have solar panels on their roof. So those can be challenges for land use regulations. What do you want to do? What don't you want to do? And there are a lot of communities within New Hampshire have zoning ordinances. Some are very complex. Some are very brief, some are simple, just like every other community, depending on what they're doing. I mean, you can spend hours looking at the 235 towns with cities in New Hampshire at all their regulations, and you'll probably find something in there. The main thing that I got out of this is that when you start looking at land use regulations for solar, you got to divide it 3 ways. Private, commercial, and industrial. So you could have, for example, Staples would be a commercial or an industry type of thing. Commercial, I think I got those steps. Commercial would be like a farm, like the farms up here. Right now, we have no solar ordinance per se. So if somebody puts up a solar farm or puts up a directional solar panel, my understanding that the only thing that we would define that as a structure. Structure, my understanding, is defined that anything is attached to the ground. So, and then that would be based on the square footage of the structure and so forth and so on. In terms of details on what you describe and what you can do and what you can't do, would have to be thoroughly looked at in terms of other ordinances that are out there. Rochester has a pretty good leg on taking care of this because they're seeing a tremendous uptick, mostly on the commercial side, the rotational. There's a lot of those all over the place, but commercial buildings are putting them up, individual homeowners. So there's 3 classifications. So what do you, if you want to ensure that the solar panels, devices do not adversely affect what you're trying to do within the community, then you got to look at each one of those. So that will take some research. I mean, the easy way to do it is look at a couple ordinances, see if you like them, and play direct.
Right.
Now, I have some information here that there is a tremendous amount of information from the Department of Energy, U.S. Department of Energy, on solars. Here is this is from New Hampshire. I think it's Solar, what's the name of this organization? I can't remember. But it's a narrative and background in a model solar ordinance for New Hampshire. And someday when we get electronically sophisticated here, we'll be able to bring this stuff up on a video and stuff. But here's an example. This is in Vermont. You can't see this. That's a solar farm. Okay. Milton has a solar farm. Kind of, you can't see it. It's up behind, if you're familiar with Milton, it's behind the highway garage. Up on a hill. There are homes on, there's a couple. No, there's one on 125, just exiting the Rochester property line. There is a directional before you get to Milton. So that would be like a private home. How do they limit that? They zone per kilowatts of power produced. So an average home uses approximately 7,400 kilowatts per year. To supply an average home, a solar array would have to have approximately 6,000 watts. The zoning ordinances don't get into how you charge Eversource or what money you get back. They don't get into that. They just get into the environmental impact, visual impact, the structural impact, the safety of the devices, and so forth and so So we have to look at stuff like that. Solar, it's like the model solar, I'm sorry, the model wind power ordinance that the state put together several years ago. There's also an ordinance on outdoor heating devices. And some of those things have to do, okay, is the shadow going to affect, how's that going to affect your neighborhood? Wood burning stove, where's the smoke going to go? There's state regulations on that. How it flows, and can you have it, how close can it be from the property line? Those are the type of things, setbacks, that kind of stuff. So what they're saying here in terms of a model zoning ordinance, and I don't know if I sent you guys this, but if you didn't, I will. And this is something that we ought to really get into, because it's going to come here some way, somehow. I mean, even the town could look at it. Go ahead.
Something I read, I don't remember if it was in the book or in this, but like telephone towers, a solar farm like this has to go before the town meeting, and people have to vote whether they want it in the town or not.
I don't know.
It was either in the book or in this that I read it.
I
should have highlighted it.
Don't know one way or the other. I don't know, but that's something that would have to be researched. But if you do an ordinance, that has to go before the town.
Right.
And then in the ordinance, you would say, okay, if you put it, it's just like a site review. Well, site review is a different thing. But to get a permit.
There's a number of permits that they have to go through before they can even set it up.
Okay, well, then those would have to be incorporated, or that would be part of the permit process that they get.
Right. They need a wetlands permit, shoreline permit,
Well, it
alteration of terrain.
It depends on where they are. For example, Middleton Building Supply had to do an AOT. An AOT is an application, it's an alteration of terrain. Anytime you disturb over 100,000 square feet of land, you have to get a permit from the state. If you're within a certain setback from certain streams, wetlands, then you got streams in particular, whether it's first order, second. You know, Kate, you know what first order, second order, third or fourth order is? I don't know.
It's just how it branches off the...
No, I know, it's the size. I don't know, I think first order is like mini stream, fourth order would be like Merrimack River, I think, or the other way around.
So the so
What's
the
that?
larger the number is, the bigger it is, or the small?
Well, not necessarily.
Well, no, right? I'm just saying, kind of.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
But you would have certain setbacks, just like you have certain rules about, you have to be 50 feet away from the shoreline before you can do it. You have to be 20, your septic has to be, your well has to be 75 feet from a wetland or your septic, whatever. I mean, you have to research all those things and what those are. It's like any other structure.
Most of I've seen for houses on a roof.
Yeah.
Right.
Those
So
are,
how does that?
that's minimal impact.
Right.
Minimal impact.
Yeah, that's for that, just for that home. They're talking like
When you put one
Like-
out,
like
But you
Middleton
still-
Supply. But this person, from what I've gathered, wants to put in quite the setup. And my question, one of my questions is, what benefit is that to us?
and it could be a big benefit.
Who,
She has a question.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I just wanted to interject. As far as rules and regulations added to the town roads, I think most of us would agree, while we need to protect our environment and our neighborhood and what the vision is we have in this town,
Right.
I certainly hope that we're not going to start regulating the rooftops and the small lights and things like that. Like, we don't need that. What we could use is certainly some minimum requirements for giant solar farms and things like that. But I don't really want our town to start creating all of these rules so that if you go to add a small solar panel to your roof or to your shed, that all of a sudden you have to get all these permits and things like that. That's not really in the benefit of our town.
now when you're adding to the top of your roof, these permits are for structures on the ground.
Only, correct?
Right, on the ground.
It sounded like we were talking about rules for all three.
No.
No, they're all different. They're all different. And you're right.
We don't
I'm of
wanna
a
get ordinance
mindset,
to
I don't
death.
like any more regulation than anybody else. But as long as there's two entities, you gotta have some rules. And my focus, my personal focus is what's best for what we're supposed to be doing in this town is maintaining our way of life, our environment. So the planning board is part of that, conservation is part of that, and I don't want any more regulations than anybody else, but I don't want somebody putting up a large ground mount solar thing in their front yard.
As long as we're limiting our government reach to that.
Across the street from them, I'm not sure I want to look at that, but I don't know if I have a right to do that, but I mean, I don't like that. But here are some of the definitions of solar systems. Roof mount, ground mount, carport mount. I'm seeing a lot of those down in Massachusetts where they have carports. They're great, and they got solar arrays on the top.
That sounds wonderful.
So you're protected from the snow. I mean, that's a great idea. I mean, but we don't have the density, we don't have that up here. Residential solar. Any ground-mounted or roof-mounted solar collection, they call it solar collection system, primarily on the site of residential use and consisting of one or more freestanding ground or roof-mounted solar arrays or modules. These are just definitions. Doesn't mean you rule anything. These are definitions. Community solar. Community solar would be like Milton. Milton has that solar farm, and they reap money from the solar farm.
I'd like to close out the public hearing. So it's
Okay.
closed as of 7:21.
Okay.
Do we want to vote on?
We can vote after John gets done with the solar.
Okay.
Okay. Community solar is land use that consists of one or more freestanding ground-mounted collection of devices with capacity up to 100 kilowatts. 1 acre of solar coverage. Accessory agricultural solar. These would be on a, let's say, a barn to help them, or a shed to help them. Let's say you got a chicken coop, and in the wintertime you need to have the lights and the heat, right? So if you keep the snow off the solar panels, I guess you can do that without doing anything.
Precisely, or a horse farm. With multiple
So then there's this zoning ordinance talks about system requirements, exemptions. And again, remember, this is just a suggestion. It's not cast in concrete.
And at the end of the day, the town has to vote on this ordinance.
Town has to vote.
And so at that time, someone like you or me or anybody could stand up and make a motion to change part of that.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the whole town as a whole has to agree on it and vote.
The hope is,
Or not the whole town, but the majority that votes.
when the planning board begins to develop an ordinance, planning board meetings are held once a month, if not more. And I think we're trying to, on some of the ordinances we've done on the aquifer, that was important. The impact fees, we pretty much settled on that, but we've had people talk about impact fees. And any ordinance requires at least one public hearing. It's for the public to make comments, suggestions on an ordinance. And before it even gets to a warrant article, it is hoped, I think, that the warrant article is written in such a way that it won't please everybody, but it will please, hopefully, the majority for what it's supposed to do.
Right.
The ordinances, when they get voted on, don't get voted on at town meeting.
Right,
They get voted on at the poll.
Well, they get voted on the ballot.
Vote yes or you no. You
Yeah,
don't
not
have
at the
to.
town meetings, on the ballot, because the ballot is you vote for the elected officers. That's where zoning are. And there's a requirement that when an ordinance is put forth on the ballot, it has to be available to the residents in written form, probably online too, in a certain period of time before the vote occurs.
Well, yes,
Yeah, so,
it's like 2 weeks, I think.
yeah, but some of the things they talk about in here is equipment system layout, natural resource impacts and buffers, that's what I just talked about. It's similar to regulations they have on the cell towers. There's regulations on, you gotta have it a certain way, what's the fall zone, what's the shadow gonna do, what's the safety zone, who's gonna take it down if it's defunct, who pays for that? So, you know,
Company to put it
all
up.
that kind of stuff in there. Okay, here's some other ones that I talked about. And again, remember, this is New Hampshire. Electrical requirements, that glare. You have Packy Campbell's directional thing. It follows the sun. Is the glare gonna hit your living room windows and blow your shades away? Noise. Those things do make noise when they turn. Setback, stormwater considerations. I heard from somebody the other day that some of those directional solar collectors you're seeing around here, Mr. Campbell, I understand, is going to have somebody plant a high bush blueberry bushes under those sites where he can to harvest them. That's not a bad idea. So, I mean, they get into specifics on how you anchor them down and all this. I mean, I'm sorry these are so small. Here's a carport, commercial carport. So we need to be, I mean, we can have, if the board looks at some of these documents and looks at some solar ordinances, the Rochester one is a living document because of the changes that they're seeing. They are changing it. I don't know what they're changing, but that's a good model. This would be a good model for us to start to discuss. I would certainly look at this. And then we can start developing a solar plan. It won't take us long, but we have to do our homework here.
So you're gonna, you've already sent us one of those documents, John. You're gonna
I
send
sent you this one.
Right, so you're gonna send us.
I'm going to send this out to
Okay,
you, yeah.
so I think maybe for the next meeting, when our next meeting is we can
Sure.
follow up on the
Next
solar.
meeting is the 28th, 27th.
Okay,
That's a
so,
work session, right?
Yes,
of this month, yes.
yeah.
So,
See, but I don't understand with the solar farm coming in. When I say benefit the town, what is it gonna do? I mean, is it gonna, we plugging into
we aren't gonna
it?
find out until July 24th at the BOS meeting. All I know is they've been asked to be put on the agenda.
Okay,
I don't know who it is. I have no idea. They do not disclose that information.
we have our ideas, but
So,
Could it generate enough electricity so that they have to buy it from us?
I don't know. We're gonna find that out.
Yeah, I
later,
know, I'm just
you
saying
know.
that's a benefit.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. So,
there's
That's
been a
what-
comment.
That's what
that-
Milton does. And other communities have these big farms, and then they will pay the town a certain percentage of their
Of their profit.
revenue.
Yeah, right,
It's like a cell tower.
yeah.
It's like a rental fee. That's kind of what it's like, right? Yeah. Okay.
Somebody
This
said.
wouldn't affect any existing solar panels.
we don't know. You mean this?
It's not in the ordinance. I mean,
Oh,
if
the
anyone
ordinance,
has
yeah.
it on their doghouse, the birdhouse, if the
Only you,
Freeview,
John.
the Freeview one is the biggest one, we really can't make a law saying they can't do it, because they've already done it. We're not trying to scare anyone, we're trying to, again, keep things sane around here.
We can propose a law for anything, whether it passes or not, doesn't.
I just don't want to be driving down the street and see all these solar panels. It's like driving through New York over near the prison and you see all these windmills there. And that's the worst bit of scenery.
Why are you going down by the prison in New York?
Oh, you're driving. Because it was on the highway headed to the college where my grandson was.
Excellent
And-
question,
and-
Kate.
That was my question, why did they put them over there to begin with? And I mean, you see, they had to be 200 of these windmills.
Well-
And it's like, I don't wanna drive down the road anywhere and see them. You drive down Route 11 now, that's what you're seeing. I don't wanna see that here.
Well,
I have concerns about the ground mounted only, honestly.
The what?
Only, the ground mounted, the structural. My fear is, I have looked at other towns' ordinances, and they literally have rules in place where any resident who wants to mount a solar panel the size of an iPad or whatever, has to pay $25 per. That's the type of thing I don't want to see happening in this
okay,
town, that's
yeah.
insanity.
There are,
So while you're discussing your
yeah,
ordinances.
you can put, I'm just thinking out loud here, you can put, okay, you can put anything anywhere, as long as it meets other criteria, that you don't need a permit for a solar panel under
Right.
100 kilowatts, 1,000 kilowatts, whatever it is. So then you can have them on your car, you can have them on your mailbox if you want. I mean, you can buy little ones like this. I don't think that's what we're aiming at. No.
She has seen that though, where you're being assessed $25 when you want to install one on your roof.
Well, go to places like Durham, Dover, look at their fee structures. You can't pull a nail, you can't hammer a nail without paying a fee.
Well, that's what scares me, I don't
Well,
want
that's
to go in
what's,
that
yeah,
direction.
we have enough fees as it is.
Yes, exactly.
And the fee people will tell you, well, it's there for your protection so that you don't do something that will harm you or your neighbor. That's what somebody will say. Okay,
Okay,
all
so,
right, so I owe you some stuff, I'll get that up.
okay.
Old business impact fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the impact fees,
Yep.
I sent everybody, I hope, the final draft. I called it a final draft that we talked about, and I told you it was a Grammarly edit.
Yep.
And my question to you, Madam Chair of the BOS there,
Yep.
we should be sending these proposed ordinances to the attorney for review before,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Who do we send them to?
You can send them to the BOS, who at the
Yes,
attorney's office?
yes. Who,
Ask Carol to find out who those should go
Okay,
to.
'cause-
She can send an email over and they'll tell
okay,
you
I
which
will
attorney.
ask her that, because
Okay,
we have already approved the aquifer ordinance.
okay,
So what we need to do is find out who that is to go to. And,
Yeah, I'm not
speaking of the
it might be
aquifer,
Huddy, but I don't know.
well, okay, we'll talk
That's
about that
not to say we
offline.
did.
I did,
Hey, so when did you send, I don't see any, I only see stuff from you for, the PDF files.
Yeah.
And the the planning board agenda. Did you said?
I didn't even
Oh,
get
this
the
is
planning
back in
board
June.
agenda.
No,
No,
I'm doing a
there's
search by
nothing.
name.
okay, all right.
So, okay, but.
I will send them again, but if we need to make a final vote on that, so that we can start the process for the attorney to look at that ordinance.
I
We
got it.
can do
I
that
got
on
it.
the
I found it.
27th.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad I sent it.
Yeah, you
I
did.
I have too many things to send, so.
Well, I got so many things in my inbox.
So my thought is we have, and the aquifer, Kate Bizard over there was concerned about the aquifer maps.
No, because, and also, it's not in the master plan that we have one.
Well, we do have one.
Yeah, but it's not in your master plan.
Well, we just add it to the master plan.
Well, do that.
Well, we do that.
Thank you.
All right.
See, that's how
So,
things get
so
done.
moved. I make a motion that we add the aquifer plan as developed by the Stratford Regional Planning Commission to the master plan.
And also, take out the verbiage that says we don't have one in town.
And remove the verbiage that we don't have one.
So that's your motion?
That's my motion.
Did you get it, Robin?
Well, no, the camera did though.
Okay.
I'll second.
Janet?
All in favor?
Okay, so I'm going to, if I may, I'm going to use the big map with all the lot numbers on them. Is that okay? You don't care?
I do care, I actually do care.
Well, I'm gonna
But,
tell-
I mean, if
I'm
that's,
gonna-
if that's accurate, and
That's as best as we can get.
is that what Stratford region? Regional says that's accurate.
That's based on the geological survey results and New Hampshire Department of whatever, where the zone is.
Okay.
So that I will get, there will also be an 8.5, a PDF file available somewhere in the files, and I'll have them print a 36 by 36, whatever that, and we can hang it up in your area.
We'll find out the price of that.
There's no price.
Right.
There's no price.
Okay, that's good news.
That's why we pay them a fee.
All right, let's go to Mr. Hertel so that he can go home.
Oh,
Make a
okay.
motion.
Make a motion to accept the plans
Second?
as presented. I can't make the motion.
Yeah, you can.
You can
That's fine.
make the motion.
You can make a motion. Chair
All
can
right,
make a
then I
motion.
make a motion to accept plans for map 8, lot 11,
Yes.
as
Second?
presented.
John seconded it?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you'll get a letter in the mail, Van.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Is there any way I could get a signed copy so we have two buyers who are pretty...
Oh, signed copy of one of your maps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could do that. And I do have, Janet, I did bring in the final plan with Damon Burke's letter across the street on the subdivision you did approve. So I just need to get that signed also.
Okay.
But this is the...
That's
Can you
on
give me-
lot one across the street.
Yes, that's right.
I just need to sign one or all of them?
Well,
All of them.
if you could sign two, please, that would
Sign
be
them
good.
all.
Yeah, that would be great if you can. And this is the letter that goes
Make
with
sure you
it.
sign it in blue ink. Oh, I'm all set.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, right in the middle there.
Oh,
Push
Wait a
that back,
minute.
push it back.
I'll get you.
We'll push this back.
There you go.
Okay, great, thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Fancy desk.
It's
Been away for a while.
not
that-
a fancy desk.
Kate, is that the
It's a-
stand you always been looking for?
No, I found that stand. It was upstairs the whole time.
Up here?
No, not up this stairs, but over there. I saw it the other day when it was over there.
Oh, upstairs next door in the municipal.
So all that mowing I did was nothing. It was up there the whole time, underneath the Christmas decorations.
Ah.
Sure, that's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
There.
I gotta get, wait a minute, I gotta go this way first.
There you go. So we're
So are
gonna
we-
change the name of Middleton to Portell.
Yeah, really?
No, we just,
So our meeting on July 27th, well, that's just a workshop to further discuss the impact fees.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can't make them vote at
Right.
a workshop, so our next meeting would be like in a couple of weeks.
Yep,
So then, I'll have that final copy I had, so,
Yeah.
and that was just a grammatical clearing that I use now to make it sound more correct, all of the verbiage and all that.
Okay. all right. Yeah, it'll be at 6:30.
And the public's invited?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So while Janet's doing that, so I'll kind of, any public comments, and we keep the meeting going along, so.
Go for it.
Any public comments?
Yes,
I
Kate?
have a few. No, I don't.
Come now. You've been saving them? Because I can't, you've been asking right along.
oh, I have a comment.
You have a public comment?
I do.
Okay. He is right now, he's on that side.
I know there's,
Oh, yes, go ahead, John, yes.
okay. This has nothing to do with the planning board.
That's okay.
This has to do with Sunrise Lake. Sunrise Lake, some of you may know and some of you may not know, we've had a couple cyanobacteria blooms, which are very toxic and so forth and so on. So a lot of citizens are concerned about what's going on with Sunrise Lake. We haven't seen those, they have not been reported.
Or one of these for the file.
Yes,
one for the file.
Take that one.
Yeah, and if I can take these, that would be
great.
Right here.
Thank you very much.
They're all signed.
Thank you,
And in the meeting, we will have a representative from.
And I have the one.
And this goes,
Yeah, that
This
goes,
goes with
that
this?
goes with that.
okay.
And then
Lake
this
water
is
quality
tonight.
is really emphasizing on what
Yeah, I guess I have it
cyanobacteria
upside down.
I see that.
Why does it happen? I've had people say, well, can we suck it up? No. Can we treat it?
And Robbie will be
Yes.
sending you out a letter.
Oh, that'd be great, yes, that's great.
No, you can't treat it. There are many things that cause cyano bloom, many factors. So that will be discussed, and I hope the last hour will be room for plenty of questions that can be asked of DES and those of us that will be here. I'm not a scientist on cyano, but I've been involved pretty closely.
And we're having an expert there that morning, right?
What's that?
You're having an expert.
There'll be somebody there from DES, right,
There
John?
will also be refreshments served,
Well, there we go.
so.
That's always a draw.
So this is posted on the website, so
Yeah.
it will need a reminder.
Trying to keep these two
So any,
sections separated. It's been very confusing.
yeah.
has been.
On the,
What are you doing, signing every
on the
copy?
Middleton
Have to.
website, documents,
Yeah.
It's okay.
the planning board, and the planning board documents, you have a shoreline application
Oh, that's mine, son. That's okay.
Yeah.
for the conservation.
Oh, I gotta know who I
Please
am.
remove that. That is from the old ordinance, we revised it. I would
So-
love to get that.
This is for
email.
both
It's on the
sides.
website.
So you want the one that's under the planning board? with
Yeah,
the
there's
shore-
only one shoreland application there.
And you want that one removed?
Removed because it used to be a requirement when you
Yep.
Okay,
wanted
so,
to work in the shoreland area that you
all right,
have to
we'll have,
go
all
before the.
right, we'll have Carol remove it.
I appreciate that.
And if you're in there, Kate, just follow up with her, 'cause
I can do
but
that.
I mean, I'll speak with her tomorrow.
It
and
just
see.
creates confusion.
Yeah.
It used to be a requirement and it's no longer.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Well, thanks everybody for coming out. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:44.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, thank you very much.
Thanks, Kate.
Nice to meet a few new people, I always meet somebody.